Hi, this is Phyllis, and welcome back again to my channel. Today we're going to make this beautiful bracelet that I named, and my children and I named, the Delphine's Gems collection. Delphine is my sister-in-law who passed in 2004, and today is her birthday. And with it being Memorial Day, I made this Memorial Day project in honor of Delphine, who went home. I hope you like this project, and I hope you honor Delphine with me in making it. I'm going to make only the bracelet in this video, and I show you how to make an extension of the necklace. But with this video, you'll be able to make all three of these items, all three of these, if you like. So I hope you like this project, and stay tuned for my materials list. The materials for today's project are size 11 seed beads. These are transparent rainbow pearl. They are a Mayuki brand, and they are size 11.0. I'm using size 8.0 seed beads in the same color and brand. Then I'm using 3mm bicones. These are Jet Double AB. Next, I'm using 8mm pearls. The color is Scaraba Green. They have a beautiful iridescence to them. I can't even see the red in the camera, but they are really beautiful in person. I don't know, I'm gonna need to get a new camera or something. Okay, then I'm going to need I'm using a toggle clasp and a jump ring. And this is my 14x9 swivel bottom toggle clasp. I need two of them, one for the bracelet and one for the necklace. And I need at least two of these 10mm jump rings. I might put a little extension on the necklace, but we'll see. And then I'm using, and these are stainless steel, and these are wire guardians, which are also stainless steel. I'm going to need two for the bracelet, two for the necklace, and two for the earrings. I'm using a size 11 tulip needle. I'm using my Fireline scissors, and I'm using this as my thread. I'm using this transparent monofilament. And because I'm using right angle weave as my beading technique, my bead weaving technique, this project is pretty thread thirsty. So I'm going to begin with a wingspan of this thread, and prayerfully that will be enough. Oh, and I forgot, when making the earrings, you're going to need ear wires. I just don't have them out here, and you're going to need whatever ear wires you're using. And also, I'm using my beadboard, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to see my thread in this project. I don't want to use a darker one because I have very limited beads, and I'm gonna have to cut it up and redo it if I use a darker one. So I'm going to keep looking to make sure that you can see the thread in the project. All right, so if you liked what you saw in the intro, please gather your materials and come back with me, and we'll get started in a minute. So before I begin the actual making of the project, in my materials list, I kept referring to this clasp as a toggle. No, this is a lobster claw. I don't know why I kept calling it a toggle, so I guess I was having a moment. But this is my 14x9 swivel bottom lobster claw. I have my my wingspan of thread on my needle. We're going to begin by stringing on 2 11/0 seed beads, an 8/0 seed bead, and my wire guardian. And so with the wire guardian, we're going to of course pull it down on one side of the groove, or divot as some call it, but I call it the horseshoe. And I'm going to pass my needle back into the second hole of the wire guardian and pull it down just to make sure that the thread is seated in the horseshoe. It is not, but that's okay. I'm going to pull it down. And once here, I'm going to get my toggle, pass the needle in there, and get tangled up. I tell you, I can't make a video without getting tangled up in my own threads. But I've got to laugh at myself. All right, so let's get the toggle into the horseshoe, and if you can, squeeze as much as you can, depending on what kind of wire guardian you're using. These are stainless steel, so they're pretty sturdy, and I don't like using tools with them. All right, so I'm still holding on to my tail. I've got about a 3-4 inch tail over here, and I'm going to grab my needle, pass my needle back into this 8/0 seed bead, and pull my thread. That should nestle right there at the wire guardian. And here I'm going to string on 2 of my size 11 seed beads and 1 more of my 8/0 seed beads. So this is what, can we get a focus please? So you should have 2 11/0s and 1 8/0 on your needle. I'm going to pass my needle back into the 2 size 11 seed beads that I started with. And we're looking for some success here. When I pull my thread, I should have a complete right angle unit. And I do. Look at that. This is the way it's supposed to be. Now, my thread is not in the groove of the horseshoe. If you can see it there, it's not in there. So, but that is not a problem now, because all I have to do is move it. I haven't tied it together or anything yet, but just move it and pull on the thread and just make sure that it sits in there, and it's in there, okay? And I'm going to reinforce this unit. How? Well, that means I have to go back into this 8/0 here, back into the wire guardian and pull. And I'm still holding on to my my tail with my finger, right here in between my middle finger and my ring finger, and I'm just going to go around this wire guardian once again. I'm holding on to it because the other thread is trying to pull out as well, and so you just want to make sure you have some nice tension here so that the threads don't go to a different dance studio. You don't want that to happen. And pass the needle down into the second hole of the wire guardian, and if you'd like, you can go into that 8/0 there and into the 2 11/0s, and I'm just holding it so that it does not go crazy here. All right, I was sorry I was out of frame, but I was just trying to get what I was doing proper. And then I'm going to just pass into my 8/0, and I'm going to tie these threads. And the reason I'm doing that is because monofilament is a little fiddly, and this one is really, it's thin. But I really like it. So I just want to tie this together here so that the beads don't move around. When I make the second loop, I go through it twice. And I'm going to do that once again. Make a loop and go through it twice. And that's pretty secure. And it doesn't even matter because if I do this 100 times, I'm using 8/0 seed beads, and I'm not going to clog up my thread with those knots. So once here, I need to reposition myself by passing into this 8/0 seed bead. Okay, all right. Now, once here, I'm going to begin making my components. It's a very simple thing, and it's repetitive. String on 2 11/0 seed beads, 1 crystal, and 1 seed bead. Get one of your pearls, and then we'll go backwards. We'll pick up 1 11/0 seed bead, 1 crystal, and 2 11/0 seed beads. And we're going to pass our thread needle back into the opposite hole of the 8/0 that we are exiting. And when you pull your thread, this is your unit. This is the right angle weave unit. But it's only half of what we need. You're going to need to get into position now. I gotta move some of these out of the way because we are having focus issues. All right. You have to continue passing your needle now. All right, let me get this tail out of the way again. And I'll show you what we're doing. All right, you have to now continue passing your needle around the beads. You're going to go into, and the reason that it's when I pass my needle into the 8/0 seed bead, we were facing this way. I flipped it over so that I can work comfortably and show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold on to my beads here, and I'm going to pass the needle into these 2 11 seed beads, the crystal, and the 1 11 seed bead, and I'm going to put my finger here. I know it's already loose, but when I put my finger there and pull the threads tightly, this is what we have. And I'm going to reposition myself by passing my needle back into the pearl. I know it's loose, but that's okay. We'll fix that. It's going to get fixed because we're going to reinforce. Now, here, Once we get in this position, we're going to string on. We're going to go backwards. We're going to string on a size 11 seed bead, a crystal, 2 size 11 seed beads. This time we need an 8/0 seed bead. Okay, and then we're going to go pick up, string on 2 size 11 seed beads, a crystal, and 1 more size 11 seed bead. And this is what you should have on your needle. This is what you should have on your needle here. And we're going to circle around and go back into the pearl again. And this time we will have our pearl surrounded with our bling. Now I'm going to flip my work this way so that I can work comfortably, and I'm going to pass my needle into this seed bead, crystal, 2 11 seed beads, the 8/0 seed bead, and if I could get all of them I would, but I can't. And then I'm just going to continue passing my needle around. I have 2 more size 11 seed beads, a crystal, and 1 size 11 seed bead. And when I pull the thread, this is what we have. Right here we're going to string on 1 size 11 seed bead, and we're going to pass the needle into the 1 seed 11/0, the crystal, 2 11/0s, as many as you can, but you know you have to go all the way around. Get my thread caught onto my bead board and knock my camera around. There you go, the comedy element of the day. Now let me get the tail out of the way and continue passing the needle around. We're going into this 8/0. I don't think I have moved all these things far enough out of the way. Move these here. Okay, this might be better. All right, continue passing the needle around. And into the seed beads, the crystal, and the 1 seed bead. Okay, once you get there, you pull your thread, make sure that you don't have gaps in any of these beads, and then you string on a size 11 seed bead and pass the needle into this 11/0, this crystal, the 2 11/0s, and the 8/0. Pull the thread, and this is our component. Now we're going to segue and make our little extension that we need to get to our next pearl component. What we're going to do is we're going to string, I'm stringing on a crystal, an 8/0 and a crystal. My needle is exiting this 8/0 seed bead right here, and I'm going to pass the needle back into it. Just that. 8/0 and pull, and this is our little unit, and this is the unit that we're going to use between the pearl components. And I'm going to reinforce this for several reasons. Number one, we're using crystals, and you know they are sharp, can be sharp on the inside. And number two, these are what's holding the whole thing together. This is the mortar, and the pearls are the bricks. So this is holding the whole thing together, and you want it to be strong when you're wearing it, so that it doesn't flop around, and God forbid it should pop off or something. Okay, so I've completed the reinforcement of the unit, but now I have to get into position to add the next pearl component. And we've already done one of those already, so we'll start by stringing on 2 11/0 seed beads, a crystal, 1 11/0, the pearl, and backwards we're going to pick up 1 11/0 seed bead, 1 crystal, 2 11/0 seed beads, and we're going to circle back around and pass into this same 8/0 seed bead right here that we are exiting. And of course, you have to reinforce it by passing back into these seed beads in this crystal. Actually, we're not reinforcing it yet. Yes, we are. We are reinforcing this because it is going to... Oh, we're not going to reinforce it yet. You know, it's been a long day and it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But right now, this is what we're doing. All right, so once here, string on an 11/0 seed bead, a crystal, 2 11/0 seed beads, tangle yourself up. Do not do that. All right. The 1/8/0 seed bead, 2 11/0 seed beads, 1 crystal, and 1 11/0 seed bead. This is what you should have on your needle. 1 11/0, a crystal, 2 11/0s, and 8/0. 2 11/0s, a crystal, 1 11/0. Circle back around and pass back into the pearl from this side, from the back end, or the opposite end, I should say. Now, once here, I'm going to flip it over so that I can work to the right, and I'm going to pass my needle into the seed bead crystal, 2 seed beads, the 8/0, 2 seed beads, crystal, 1 seed bead if I can get it. And you see how that's loose? Don't fret. It's going to be fine. Just pull the thread and make sure you resolve that while you are here. So with that, once in this position, exiting that seed bead, string on 1 11/0, pass the needle into this 11/0 crystal, 2 11/0s, 8/0, and keep going around. And once you get here, exiting that 11/0, you string on another one, string on another 11/0, and you pass your needle into this 11/0 crystal, 2 11/0s, and 8/0. Pull the thread and resolve any gaps that you may have. You know, put your thumb against it and pull the thread, and this is what you should have. And you're going to continue making these components. You'll do the crystal component, the crystal unit in between the two pearl components. And you're going to do that until you have the length of your bracelet minus the length that you need for the other end for your clasping. So continue doing what we did by stringing on a crystal, an 8/0, and a crystal to make this in between unit. Pass the needle here just into the 8/0 and continue to make your component there. All right, reinforce and continue to make your components until you get to the length that you need, and I will see you when I get to the length that I need. Bye-bye. I have the length of my bracelet complete, and I ended up with 10 pearls, and I'm going to end this bracelet the same way I began, and I'm going to do that by making sure that I am exiting this 8/0 seed bead right here, and I'm going to string on 2 of my 11/0s and 1 of my 8/0s, and I'm going to get my, and I'm running out of thread. I only have about maybe 8 inches, and so I have to hold on to it very tightly. I'm going to get my, okay, two 11/0s and an 8/0 and my wire guardian, going into the one hole and advancing the needle around into the second hole and getting my jump ring and sliding that on there. And once I get there, I'm going to do a little wire guardian pinch. As much as I can. And go into the top 8/0 seed bead. Okay. And pull down. And just to make sure that my thread is in the groove of the horseshoe. And then here, once here, I'm going to string on 2, and they're over here now, 2 11/0 seed beads, and pass my needle back into that 8/0 where I started. And from here, the only thing that's left to do is reinforce my clasp and travel back down here and tie some half hitch knots in between my 11/0s, and then cut my thread. Okay, so that's the bracelet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off by doing what I just said, reinforcing my clasping and traveling down and tying knots and cutting off the thread. And then I'm going to show you how to make the Y necklace extensions. And I'm not going to make the whole thing for you, but I'm just going to show you how I make the extensions, exactly what I do, because you're going to be using the same component right here. And when I am finished with that, then I'll pop back on, when I'm finished with this, I'll pop back on and show you how I make my Y necklace extensions. And then I gotta figure out a way to do my strap, the necklace part of it. Okay, so I'll see you back soon. I'm making a Y necklace, and I already did this part of the Y necklace component. I started here, then I made a dangle, And then I went back up and I made components like we did on the bracelet. However, I need to, if you're going to do this, I'm making the last component a little differently. So what I'm going to do is string on, oh, I have a mess, string on 2 11-0s, a crystal, 1 11-0, my pearl, and we go backwards as normal, 1 11-0, a crystal, 2 11-0s, and circle back into the 8-0 where I'm exiting. And I pull. You have the same old setup as usual. Half the pearl setup, and then I'm only turning it this way so I can work on this side. Pass my needle and back into the pearl. We're going to go around again because this holds the weight. And back up into these on this side. It's just a regular right angle weave unit as usual. Into this 11-0 seed bead and back into the pearl. All right. Now this component here is going to be different because I'm going to make a Y necklace, and so I need to be able to attach to this side of the pearl and this side of the pearl. So I'm stringing on one of my 11-0s and 1 8-0, 2 11-0s, a crystal, and we're going to go backwards this time. 2 11-0s, and 8-0, and 1 11-0. This is what you should have. One 11-0, 1 8-0, 2 11-0s, a crystal, 2 11-0s, and 8-0, 1 11-0, and circle back around into, pass back into the pearl, and get my thread tangled up. And this is what it should look like here. And the reason we did it this way is because I don't want to attach my Y extensions to a crystal. I want to attach my Y extensions to an 8-0. And so from here, I'm going to just do what I've been doing, flip it over so I can work away from me, and pass my needle all the way around and just reinforce this. And I'm not hiding it, of course. Reinforce this setup, but also adding in my 11-0 when I go around. And make a mess with my seed beads. So when I get here, I string on an 11-0 and I pass through and I keep going around. and keep going around until I get to this single 11-0 here, if I can do it. Yep, I did it. And once I get here, string on an 11-0 and pass my needle up here. And I could keep going, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to make my Y necklace extension right here. How am I going to do that? I'm going to string on a crystal, an 8/0. Ooh, come on, 8/0s. Crystal, 8/0, and a crystal. And my thread is, that's why I didn't want to use this, but this is the one that I'm making for the special colors. It's hard to see the thread, but if I put it like this, it's not really that hard to see. All right, well, no problem. All right, so we're gonna go back into this 8/0 here and reinforce the unit by going into all of the beads. The reason I don't like to go into multiple beads at once when I'm doing right angle weave is because I want to have my formation. I don't want to mess with my formation by having the beads look a little awkward. And also I don't want to shred my thread by doing that, especially because I'm using crystals. All right, once here now, I'm going to position myself into the 8/0 so that I can make another unit. Same thing, crystal, 8/0, crystal. Pass my needle back into the 8/0, reinforce that unit, and once reinforced, sorry about that, I'm going to position myself here into the 8/0. Once here, this is what you should have. Okay, it's my extension. I'm going to string on 8 11/0 and I'm going to pass my needle here back into the first 8/0 where I started making that extension, and I'm going to pick up 8 again, and back into this 8/0 right here on the top of the extension, and I'm going to continue passing because of course we are going to reinforce. And so I'm going to continue passing my needle all the way around. The crystals will try to recess or pop up into the front. Either way, it doesn't matter, because I mean, it doesn't matter. No, it matters, but it doesn't matter that much until you get to the other side, because either way they pop out, you want them to both be popped out on the same side. So these pop this way, and I'm going to let them stay that way, and I'm going to continue to reinforce this component. This is my extension, and So, all right, so they don't know what side they want to sit on. I just don't want to shred my thread or cut it, but I'm just going again this way to make sure that we are completely reinforced. Just going through the thread a couple times is fine, but make sure that when we make the other extension component on the other side over here in this 8/0, that whatever way your crystals have popped out on this side, you want them to pop out on the same side of the other extension. So I'm just going to continue, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, continue passing my needle through to make sure that I have completely reinforced this unit. And you know, fix yourself, fix your clothing, fix your clothes, child. Fix this here and make sure that it's even. You don't want to choke this or pull it too tightly. You know, you don't really want to have it a mess, but you do want it to sit like this. Here's the other side of it, so you can see that the crystals are popped up this way. But now this unit is completely reinforced, and I'm going to continue to pass my needle. We're coming out of this 8/0 seed bead right here. Let's get some. All right, and now continue going into the 11/0s. Today. Okay. I have a problem, Houston. I should not have 3 11/0s here on this side. So what have I done wrong? Oh, I have not done wrong. I should have 3. Oh my goodness, I'm losing it. All right, sorry people, I'm just having a moment. All right, I'm going through these seed beads here because what I'm trying to do is position myself to make the extension on the other side, and I just need to go around and get there. I'm trying to get here in this 8/0, and I'm just trying to get there so that we can make this extension component. All I did was flip it so that I could work this way, and you can keep it that way if that's comfortable for you. And so now I'm here at this. Let's fix this a little bit. It's not going to stay right while you're manhandling it, but you know, you don't want it to be too out of sorts. So once we get here, we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side by making our 2 right angle weave units with a crystal, an 8/0 seed bead, and a crystal, and we're going to come back around and do this. And once I finish making this extension unit just like I made on this side, and making sure that the crystals are popped out on the same side in each extension, I'm going to pass the needle through some of these beads, tie a couple of half hitch knots, and cut off the thread. And I don't even have to show you the rest of this, because you can make, where I'm going to just make regular components from this point right here. I'm not going to make a lot. I'm just going to make a few with using the pearl, not using this setup, but I'm going to use the pearl to go that way. and then the same thing that way. And and after a while I'm just not going to use pearls. It's just going to be the component, and I'll let you see that when I am done. As you can see, I completed my wide necklace. This is what it looks like around my neck. Delphine always loved classy things. She loved blingy things as well, so I think she would like this necklace very much. So this is the completed set. The earrings, and the necklace. Put it this way. The necklace. And of course, the bracelet. This is the bracelet in honor of Delphine, the Delphine Gems, the Delphine's Gems collection. So I hope you like this memorial project, and thank you for hanging out with me, and see you again next time.